Yo, what's going on, fam? In today's video, we'll be looking at spiritual TikToks that will help you raise your vibrations.
So I woke up with some more information this morning that I want to share with you guys. If you are not able to hear in a certain frequency, you will not understand what I'm saying. If you have shifted in your frequency and you are part of the ascension, you're probably going to hear what I'm saying. You're going to understand it. But what I want to share with you is that the things happening on the earth right now and with the election and all this stuff is happening for a reason. It is to reveal the two energies that are splitting on the earth. Those who are not going into New Earth and those who are. This is simply to reveal the 3D and the 5D timeline shift, the old Earth and the new Earth. And so as we continue to move through this time, this upheaval and this corruption being exposed, we are literally watching the universe exposing what is not moving into the next energy of the 5D. So even though it feels really intense and scary on a human level, I want to remind you and come to you that if you are here right now on Earth and you are awakened in any kind of way, you are a volunteer. You came to volunteer to usher in 5D energy. You came to volunteer to bring New Earth in. You are important. Your light is important. We are spread all over this earth for a reason. That is why many of us feel alone, because we are the light in our community. We are the light that is here to reveal the darkness. We are the light ushering in the new earth. We came for this very reason right now that we are in. Like, we are in it, you guys. This isn't something coming. This is something happening right now. And I have heard my spirit team tell me that it is time for you to buckle up and stand in your power and light. Now, the way they explained it to me was not to try to convince people to wake up. That is not our job. People wake up on their own because you become the mirror for them to see themselves. People don't change until they see themselves. So by you just continuing to be yourself, by you continuing to speak truth, by you continuing to spread love and kindness and unity among the collective, you are a reflection to those who are still in the 3D who have yet to wake up. We have one more round of awakening, and we're in it right now. And if these people are willing and ready to shift into a higher consciousness and to wake, they will be able to move into 5D energy with us. They will be able to move in New Earth. However, if they're not meant to be moving into 5D and they're meant to remain into 3D, they will have two choices. Either to allow themselves to start to heal and shift in their frequency and wake up, or they're not going to be here anymore. And this is what it means to be the end times. We're ending an old energy and era, and we're beginning a new one. And if you are here, you are a volunteer.
Yo, if you here, you a volunteer.
There's a spiritual warfare happening. Just because you can't see it with your own physical eyes doesn't mean that it's not occurring. We are in a battle right now of the darkness versus the light. And for those of you who deny that darkness even exists, you are a problem. To say that only love and life exists denies the darkness that is in all of us and that exists on this planet. To deny darkness is to say that women don't get raped and there isn't such thing as sex trafficking and children trafficking and abuse of animals and the destruction of nature. To deny darkness is to deny the battle that we are in.
Why shouldn't you say anything dark about men? See, that's the thing. Nothing bad happens to men. We don't ever talk about what bad is happening to men. It's always about women, the children, the animals, the planet, but it's never the men. Men have issues too. I'm just saying.
Now, that's not for me to say to scare you. What it is, though, is for you to wake up to what we need to be doing currently on this planet. And as you know, the United States of America just elected someone who they believe is going to change, is going to create something new from something broken. And I'm sorry to shit on your parade, but there is no way in hell that a lower level of consciousness, someone of the old earth, someone who has not elevated or evolved, someone who has not become an enlightened being, can ever be a leader of the new earth. You cannot create shit from shit. You must come out of the shit to see that you were vibrating as shit, and then to become who you truly are underneath all the shit. We're so brainwashed and conditioned to believe that something outside of us is here to save us. It's Trump, it's Kamala, it's Jesus. Jesus did not come here for you to look to him as the savior, as the one that's going to save you. He came here to teach you that you are the savior for you. And of course, patriarchy took that and just fucked it all up for all of us. And now we have so many people praying to Jesus, asking Jesus to save us, save me, save me, save me. And it's all part of the agenda. And the agenda is, let's keep them looking outside of themselves. Keep them so powerless, keep them so weak, keep them so disconnected from the truth of who they are, so they never ever go on the path of discovering that what they are looking for is actually themselves and within themselves.
What will you choose? People just think love is just this abundant thing that's just full of happiness and joy, right? But what about the people? Y'all heard me stuttering. What about the people that just love bad things, or just love to be a very bad person, or love to hurt people? You get what I'm saying? So this word love has to stop being used so mainstream. Yo, what'd he say? That's deep stuff, girl.
Just realized that 2025 is the year of the snake in the lunar cycle. I don't know if y'all realize this, but do y'all know what happened in the year of the snake previously? 1917, year of the snake, the U.S. entered World War I. 1942, year of the snake, the U.S. entered World War II. That was after the attack on Pearl Harbor. 2001, year of the snake, 9/11 happened. Into what? The War on Terror. Also the invasion of Afghanistan. These were all significant moments in history where the U.S. was thrust into massive shifts. Do you catch my drift? So the year 2025 is the year of the snake. What y'all think gonna happen? Let's talk about the time in between the events. So from 1917 to 1941 was 24 years. 1941 to 2001 was 60 years. From 2001 to 2025, we back at the 24-year mark. We starting to see a clear pattern emerge between the 24 and 60-year mark. And it's clear as day, every year of the snake, or every 24 to 60 years, some kind of global upheaval happens. Like the shedding of the old, trying to bring something new in, even though it's going to be chaotic and painful. But 2025 is also the year of 9, which is completion, as well as endings and transformation. Snakes shed their skin just as the old collective consciousness is going to shed their old belief system. The veil which has been hidden will be lifted or completely demolished. No coincidence that all of this energy is converging in 2025, the year of the snake. I mean, just think about it. We're getting ready for it now. Global tensions, the shifting of power, push for truth over illusion. And it's all leading us somewhere. And if you could feel it, if you real tapped in, then you already know where it's leading us to. 2025 will not just be another year. It's a pivotal moment in history. The world will be forced to reckon with its own shadow. Like the snake sheds its skin, the collective is preparing to shed centuries of control, manipulation, and deception. I talked to everybody last year and said buckle up for 2024. Y'all probably thought I was joking. 2024 was just the tip of the iceberg. You can bet your bottom dollar when I say buckle up for 2025, you better do so. I'm only saying this because most people are not ready to handle the truth. Those with your eyes wide open, it's just gonna be another bump in the road. But we'll be alright. Not the end of the world, it's just the end of an era. Honestly, I'm glad to see this shit go. And what was hidden will be revealed. Better believe it. If you think what came out this year was something, you have no idea. Those who have been doing the inner work will be ready to step into this new era. Post-veil reality is not about fear though. It's about preparation. is understanding and alignment with the truth. Snake represents knowledge, wisdom, and rebirth. Just like 1917, 1941, 2001, and 2025 marks pivotal moments in our collective journey. 2025 will be a bit different because this is on a whole spiritual level. Just make sure you keep your third eye open, aka your first eye. Keep your head on a swivel. Just remember, everything is connected. 2025 will be the year that proves it. Mark my word. Make sure you get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Y'all ready for the year of the lizard?
When you're with somebody and you feel someone's energy pulling on you, you're not imagining that. And how does that happen? One of the ways that people attach and drain you is complaining. Constant complainers, that is a vampiric quality, or shall I say trait. That's a vampiric trait. They complain. What they're doing, just energetically, is they're saying, I'm not generating enough energy from inside of myself. So what I'm going to do is attach myself to your willpower, and I'm going to use mine to complain about something, and then you will provide me with positive energy, with optimism, with hope. And then I will go doot, 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 and I will feel empowered, and then you'll detach. But that person will have no intention of actually acting on that power. In fact, they'll simply, like feeding off of you, go home for a day, feed off of that, not use it because it's not their energy, it's yours. But it will be like a transfusion. It's like an energetic transfusion that they will use, and then the next day they have to find more. Which is why you think after a while, I can't be around that person. I just, we have the same conversation, it's the same thing, and nothing ever changes. Because you can't, here's the truth, pay attention to this. You cannot create off of someone else's energy. You absolutely cannot create off of someone else's energy. We can only create off of our own life force, our own. That is what karma's about. We cannot utilize someone else's life force and think that we can make something happen from their life force. It's not possible. People can supply us with grace through prayer. And that is the supplement that we can utilize, grace through prayer. But if you are vampiric in your style and you use complaining, and you think that that's going to help, and you might feel a temporary, I'm so supported by that person because they listen to me. But by the next day, you're right back where you started, because that's how the laws of energy work. You cannot live off of someone else's energy. And this is why, from a different point of view, we are all called to develop our sense of self. We are all called to develop our sense of self-esteem. We are all wired to listen and hear our intuitive guidance that says, do this, do that, do this, because it empowers us in order so that we can make decisions that further our own life journey.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of these complaining vampires. Anybody else been around a complaining vampire that just drain you of all your energy? And then it's like, dang, I ain't got no energy now.
I have a deep sense of faith. I truly believe that when you pray, you get guidance. That you don't have to repeat your prayers all the time because God's not deaf. That when you ask for help, it's in there in the blink of an eye. That you have to let go of the way you think help is going to come to you. That everything has a purpose in your life, even if you can't see it. That every relationship has a purpose in your life, even though that purpose may hurt a great deal. When people say to me, oh, now let me see, I've just met somebody who has the same wounds as I do, and we're wound mates and we're soulmates. And I want to say, when you get out of here, I'll tell you who your soulmate is. Tell me the one person who has caused you the most pain in your life, and that is your soulmate. Because it's the person who has expanded your soul the most. Well, I believe all of these things are really true. I believe that there are so many deep spiritual teachers in our history and in the world now who are that are trying to teach us that the only real meaning of this life is to learn that life is only for spiritual development. And there is no other meaning. There is no other meaning. And I think that's a frightening thing, because we come from a long, long tradition that separates our physical life from this spiritual life. That if we're going to choose spiritual development as our priority, we therefore must abandon physical life. I think that, I know that as we make the transition to this next culture, to this energetic culture that we are making now. I'm not talking about anything that's 2,000 million years in the future. I'm talking about now, that we will merge these two and recognize that the genuine spiritual path that we're on now, well, I don't want to say genuine, that the next step of evolution within the spiritual path is the merger of our spirit with our physical body, and living then within in a simultaneous harmony with the power and the energy that flows through both. And I believe that's where we're going.
Nah, for real, I do believe like the physical and the spiritual have to mirror each other for you to be whole. And that's why society in itself right now has tried everything to get us away from being spiritual, because our ancestors back in the day, they were spiritual. So nowadays, everyone has to work or worry about all these other things, right? These physical things, to where spirituality isn't even in a conversation with them anymore. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of people who are waking up and, who are becoming more spiritual, but that is not the way of the society. Those are individuals, right? The society is moving in the complete opposite direction, to where everything is physical, nothing spiritual anymore.
In every single one of us, every human being out there, there are two of us. There's two people. The first person in each person is called the ego, or I call it the ego. E-G-O. Earth guide only. All right? This is the part of us that says who I am is separate from you, separate from God, separate from my environment, and therefore I'm in competition with, and my value is based upon how much I get, how much my stuff is worth, how much more money I might have, the value of my possessions, and so on. What is mine? Also, in each and every one of us, there's another person. And this other person is called what I call the sacred self, or the higher self. And this sacred or higher self really doesn't care how much you get. It doesn't care who you're better than. It doesn't care how much stuff you have. It's not interested in any of that. The problem is that we very seldom listen to it. We pay very little attention to it. This higher or sacred part of us wants only one thing. It wants us to be at peace. Whatever choice you make in every interaction you have, make the choice to be at peace, your sacred or higher self says. Whereas your ego says, oh, no. It's much more important to be right. If you want to have your higher or your sacred part of you ruling in your life, I suggest this to you. Practice being kind rather than right. When you have the choice, and you have the choice in your relationships with your spouse and your ex-spouse, with your parents, with your grandparents, with your in-laws, with strangers on the freeway, with flight attendants, with waiters, with whomever you interact, how can I suspend this part of me and allow the part of me that wants to be at peace? And doing that with your children, and doing that with a waiter. I mean, a waiter who comes to you and is like, hassled and frazzled and has been busy and all of that, and your ego says, wait a minute, I'm here and I'm important, and I have a right to be served, and I have a right to be served now.
It's a lot of people
That's the
like
ego
that.
part of you. If you can suspend that and say, you are a lucky man tonight. You got somebody who's stealing from his sacred self. You know what? you'll get served so fast and with such gratitude just for being kind, if you practice it. These are our greatest teachers, because anybody in your life who can push a button and send you into a frenzy is the person who's your greatest teacher. You know why? Because they teach you that you haven't mastered yourself at this moment. You don't know how to choose peace. Is the person who's your greatest teacher. You know why? Because they teach you that you haven't mastered yourself at this moment. You don't know how to choose peace. In A Course in Miracles, there's a wonderful line that says, I can choose peace rather than this.
Choose peace, y'all.
The spiritual life simulation, we're here to learn through opposites, through experiencing the opposites. So we learn concepts. So let's say you choose out a menu, I want to learn unconditional love. That means that you will continue to be confronted with conditional love your entire life, and you will judge it harshly until you no longer judge conditional love so much. And then you finally learned the concept of what it means to experience unconditional love. It's through experiencing the opposites. You cannot learn what is pleasure without experiencing also pain. And it's not that the heart breaks when you have difficulty and trauma and challenge. The ego breaks, the heart only expands. So through all of this, we increase our capacity to learn and to love through tearing our muscles of our spiritual bodies. Right? It's like, you go to a gym, if there's no pain, there's no gain. Same concept. If you're in a spiritual life simulation, you're not going to choose a simple life, because you're not going to learn very much.
Wanted to update everybody on this parallel universe merge that we are experiencing right now. So I see a lot of videos on TikTok of people saying that we timeline switched. I guess you can say that in more simpler terms. However, I feel like this is something that is way more complicated than just a timeline switch, because we timeline switch all the time. And there's a deeper meaning to what's going on that I haven't quite put my finger on yet, but I do know that we are merging with another parallel universe right now. Now, allegedly, and I have to say allegedly, there is a 4-lettered organization that has been trying to destroy our parallel universes in fear that something like this would happen. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you know that I get a lot of downloads about April 1st of 2025 being a portal that is going to take us into a higher timeline, higher dimension. I also talk about how November up.
Her eyelashes keep moving and it's messing with me, y'all. I think that's a filter. It's got to be a filter. Let me know, because I don't be on like little filters and stuff like that. So if that's a filter, let me know, because the mubs keep moving. I'm just like focused on the eyelashes the whole time, but she's talking about energy shifts.
Until then, we are going to see massive changes environmentally, with natural disasters. And these natural disasters may allegedly have to do with this parallel universe merging. I did receive confirmation yesterday that this is a very positive thing. This is a very positive thing if you are on a spiritual journey and you are on a journey of evolving. Your manifestations are going to be coming in way faster. The people, and listen to this, guys, the people that have cursed your ancestors, the people that have cursed you, generational curses, bloodline curses, past life curses are not holding the strength that they once had. And because of that, a lot of you guys are breaking through barriers and taking the shackles off your feet. I mean that literally and figuratively, because when I do Akashic record readings, I see so many people have shackles on their feet from past life stuff or generational stuff. If you are on a journey of evolvement and you are ascending as a soul, you're going to see a lot of things that you thought were never going to happen for you, happening for you for your best interest.
Okay.
I hate to be the one to say it, but it's the music. It's 100% the music. When people talk about what's wrong with our society, it's the music. There's no doubt in my mind anymore. Stop listening to music and watch how much your mind almost completely resets itself. Think about it. At every generation, whether it be the classical period or the Gilded Age or the 60s, the lifestyle that people lived was almost a direct reflection of the music that they listened to. Like the culture that embodied the musical scene of the time was a reflection of the way people lived their lives. And you see it today. The lifestyles and the choices that are normalized today are a direct reflection of what is represented and embodied within the music of today. I know that sounds crazy because you have to understand that I'll never forget, I saw a video where this man who was in prison for 60 years came out of prison, and he said the first thing that he noticed was that everyone had these things in their ears. He didn't even know what they were called, but he was talking about earbuds, AirPods, headphones, etc. And he was amazed at this because it was almost as if everyone had tuned out of reality. You have to understand, there's a story in the Bible where a king was being tormented by demons, and the only way that he would feel comforted is if a man named David was playing a harp. Understand that listening to music every single day is a coping mechanism because there are thoughts in your head that you don't want to hear. And it's literally a form of chronic therapy. You're tuning out of reality because if you were to actually sit in the presence of your own thoughts, you would not like what your thoughts entail. So you try to blot out. It's really a form of escapism where you try to blot out that noise by constantly playing music all of the time. Understand that is not normal. That is not normal at all. And if you're, everyone talks about the subconscious mind and how there's a reason why you remember song lyrics if you just listen to the song long enough instead of actually reading the lyrics. So if you're listening to a song by 21 Savage where he's openly talking about murdering people, using drugs, doing illicit activity, and you're listening to that on a constant basis, don't deceive yourself and think that's not going to affect your outlook on the world. That you may not be prone to certain behaviors because of the music that you listen to is completely false. You are going to be more prone to certain things because of what you are listening to. Now, on the flip side, when you have people that listen to audiobooks or people that listen to podcasts, these people tend to be a little bit more well-spoken and more educated and ultimately have a more expansive worldview because their opinion and ultimately their personality and character is a reflection of what they listen to. Because understand, even in the scriptures, the Bible says that faith cometh by hearing, okay? This is why you have different types of learners, right? Different learning models where some people are visual, audio, and touch, right? But there are some people where it's not enough for them to simply read something. They have to have someone vocally express the information, and that's how that information is ingrained within their memory. So understand that you have to be very selective about the music that you listen to. And this is not even about the frequency of the music because that's a completely different conversation. But the lyrics, the words, there is power in the telling you. I'm telling you, that is what the problem is. 100% is the music.
100%, man. Started with the drill music.
If you're seeing this video, listen to me. If you are seeing this video, just stop. Wait a second. You can get to the next video, I promise. I have a few things for you, and trust me, you're gonna love it. My name is Master Johnson. I make things make sense. My energy is so magnetic. It repels away those that are not ready for it, but it simply attracts those that are. Now, if you need proof of this, go to my profile, see the hundreds of thousands of comments stating exactly that. Now, like I said, I make things make sense. So I just have to make a few things make sense for you in order for you to finally understand what the hell's going on up here. If you haven't noticed by now, working harder is not getting you closer to the dream reality. Sacrificing and struggling and burning the midnight oil is not helping. The only thing that is helping is your stress. Let's go ahead and learn from that. There's this magical quote, right, that says, as within, so without. But nobody really ever kind of explains what that means. What that means is, if you have the perspective that is negative, meaning you have the perspective where everything sucks, you can't get ahead. You're always broke. You're always just getting by. The world is so hard to navigate through. In that perspective is all shining through the perspective that you are holding here inside of your heart. I promise you, you will not get a prosperous life with a poverty perspective. So Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What I say is, when you change the way you feel about what you are seeing, perspective, that's when everything will change in what you are seeing. Another beautiful quote says, speak what you seek until you see what you say. Now, let's take it a step further. Whatever you are talking about, whatever you're talking with your friends about, whatever you're talking with yourself about, if it's from a perspective of a victim-based mentality, a mentality that says, I need this in order to have this, a mentality that says, I'm in my healing era, and then you build an identity out of healing, all of that is holding you away from the power that you actually have. quite frankly, you are holding that power and you're using that power against yourself. Now, what is that power? Newsflash, it's God. Yes, you are using the God force, the essence that you are, that is powering the perspective that you have, and you're using that with the imagination against yourself. Literally, you are finding the worst case scenario and then expecting for the best one, when all you're thinking about and feeling and talking about is the worst. Again, you're not going to get to a place of prosperity from a point of poverty. When you change the way you feel about your current circumstances, that's when everything is going to change. So, the next thing I need you to understand, everything is an inside job. Transformation, my friends, is an inside job. Stop looking and expecting. Start going inside and investigating. So awesome, because the word investment or to invest means to essentially pay your attention to or your financial aperture to. So when you are investigating yourself, that means that you are paying attention to yourself, meaning you're not crucifying yourself, you're not putting yourself down, you're not telling yourself how shitty you are. You're investigating whose thoughts those are, and then you're going to realize that those aren't your thoughts. Those are things that you caught by the people that you were brought up by and by the situations, experiences, and doubting that you have dealt with. So what we're going to do is you're going to investigate, you're going to realize what no longer serves you, and then you're going to release and let go of what no longer serves you. And the way that you do that is not going on some giant healing journey talking about narcissist this and all this and that, and I am the way I am because of what has happened to me. No. You are God. God is not a traumatized essence. Sure, your ego may be, but I don't know if you knew this. Ego literally stands for edging God out. You are God, my friend. You are God that is experiencing life through your perspective, the perspective that you give. So, transformation is an inside job, my friend. I need you to start investigating, my friend. Then, once you have identified the things that no longer serve you, you're going to release, let go, and then choose. Here's the formula. Accept. Accept what is right now. Deny the way that you've been responding and or reacting to the current circumstances in your situation. Third step is to choose. Choose who you are in any given moment, meaning choose the perspective that you're going to have so that you can see things differently, so that you can feel differently about the things that you see. And then the last one, be. Be that identity that you chose to be instead of the identity that you used to be. And stay diligent, stay disciplined to that. In other words, just fucking believe in yourself. Listen, this will be the most important freaking video on your feed. Hands freaking down. Now, if this makes sense, just in the comments put makes sense. Anchor that thing down into the subconscious that this is making sense to you. Save the video, share the video, do whatever you need to do with the video in order to get this to be inside of your conscious so that it can impress the subconscious, so that you can change your freaking life and enjoy the you that you are choosing to be, because it's all coming from you in the first place. God dang, this has been a 5-minute video of me just ripping your ass. Hey, listen, get in my freaking community if you're not there already. Look, at this point, you've already been trying to think too much about it. You've already been trying to figure it all out. It's not working. Let me make it make sense for you. Link is at the top of the page. If you feel inclined, I can't wait to meet you. If not, go ahead and see me on the next one. Peace.
It's a mind over matter thing, y'all. Got to change your mindset if you want to change your life. Like you said, man, you can't have a prosperous life with a poverty mindset. Come on, man. Make it make sense. But yeah, guys, these are some of the most spiritual and enlightening TikToks that are out there. Death to the ego. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.